everybody, my name's AJ, and if you're new here, I am a single mother, I'm a content creator, I'm an academic, I am a content creator. I pretty much do it all, and as you've seen the title of this video, we are here to talk about homeschooling. Now this is an update. If you haven't heard about my previous videos or haven't seen my previous videos talking about homeschooling, go and check those out and come here. But we're going to be digging into homeschooling, and let me tell you, I've got a lot of updates. So we have been at homeschooling now for about 4 months, going on 5 months. Time has seriously flown, and I want to share also really quickly, guys, something that I left out in my previous video is that I actually pulled my daughter out of school before I was approved for homeschooling because I was so done with the education system. Now, do I recommend this? No. Do I think that this is a good thing to be doing? No. Is there a big risk? Yes, but I felt like I was not comfortable with my daughter being in school. I was concerned for her safety, and then again, most importantly, I was concerned for her education as well, and the continued kind of degradation of her relationship with education. So this is going to be quite a big yarn. Put the kettle on, pull a chair up, let's sit down and have a yarn. So let's get into it. If you do or do not know, my daughter has or is a traumatic brain injury survivor. I don't talk much about her story or her journey because that is her journey, that is her story, and one day she will be able to share it, or she might not or might decide not to. It's really important when being a parent for a child or a carer that we respect that this is our child's journey, this is our child's story. We have our story as an advocate or as a carer or as a parent, but I'm really based in that respect for my daughter, and I just want to acknowledge that in the start of this video. But with it saying that, we're going to get into the journey. So her disability was a primary reason why I knew, or I felt like the education system was not right for her. Also the fact that she is Aboriginal and she is of African background and refugee background. All of these determinants really shape your experience in the education system as a result of institutionalized racism, but also importantly knowledge and the way that knowledge is received and the way that, you know, children learn. The role of children as well is very different to what it is in the West, and I have talked about this in a previous video. But we've been homeschooling now for 4 going on 5 months, and when I tell you, it has been incredible seeing and witnessing the growth in Emily, seeing and witnessing the growth in her confidence, but also academically. And also I want to preface this in this video, guys, by saying I have high expectations of my daughter. Now, are those high expectations that she's going to go out and be a mathematician or a doctor, all these kind of really respected fields? No, not at all. But I have high expectations for my daughter that she is and can do the work. She may have to learn at her own pace. She may have to learn through a different style or a different kind of learning methodology, but my daughter can do this work, and my daughter will do this work, and that's something that really shapes what we do. And I feel like the benefit of being at home, sitting at home with her, homeschooling her, and being her mum, I'm able to identify what methods, what ways of learning is best for her. If she's not understanding something or grasping something, it's one person here. I'm able to literally sit with her and cater to her and help her learn and work through that difficulty. But in a school system or a class environment, we have to imagine 30 other children running around doing this, doing that, and how difficult it is for a teacher who's probably already exhausted, already overworked, trying to teach, trying to rephrase, trying to explain. That's going to be near impossible. So Emily's understanding of what learning is, Emily's understanding even with a pencil or a textbook or a book is changing, and she's really starting to engage with what we're learning. Her reading, guys, like I shared this online, like when she first started reading, she would whisper almost in like a really soft voice, but as time has gone, as time continues to grow, her voice is just becoming louder and more confident in her reading. The other day I came in and she was actually reading a book by herself, and I think that is the first time I've ever seen her read like an older book all by herself, other than those like kind of kindergarten ones. So to say I'm proud of her would be an understatement. And also, guys, really laying baselines of a healthy relationship with education and learning is so important. I don't want Emily to ever feel like it's a task, it's something she hates, not see the relevance, not see the fun in learning. I just don't want her to become disengaged from learning because the strategies that she's being taught with are strategies that don't align with her needs. Now, also, because she has a disability, her teacher, I feel like, really limited her capacity. I feel like he really thought that A, B, C, or D about Emily, that was her limit, that's the best she could do, that's what she had. But I believe my daughter actually had so much more to give in that classroom, and I did not have the energy to educate a teacher. I did not have the energy to go back and forth with this institution when I know how they value disability, when I know how they value Indigenous people in general, and I didn't want to fight it out. You know, I didn't want to start beginning this uphill battle in the education system. I knew what it was. I knew what that journey is going to look like because I went through it. My mother went through it. I wanted to make a radical decision to protect my daughter, to give my daughter a childhood that is free of racial abuse, that is free of discrimination or ableism. I wanted her to stay sweet and innocent and happy and joyful, and that's exactly what she is. Now also guys, you have to understand, like I've shared in other videos, with homeschooling you're able to teach your child as much as you want in a day or a week or a month. You work through the curriculum at your own pace, and this is something that's been absolutely incredible. Emily and I are working through a lot of kindergarten stuff, revisiting that, and then going into year 1. We're really kind of walking through this journey, and as I'm going through that, I'm assessing what she does and what she does not know, so I'm able to really kind of create a baseline, which is absolutely incredible to think that I'm able to curate and create a curriculum and a process that aligns with her needs, and also be really based in culture, based in learning about different things from different perspectives. That's what I'm so excited about. And if it's mental health as she grows older, physical health, money, beauty standards, all of these different topics, my daughter is going to learn about them. And also different pieces of information that I'm not familiar with, we're able to work with together. Another really important point here is, guys, that I am going to be getting her some private tutoring. Where I live, there's a number of like after school kind of classes where kids can come together and learn, but they also offer private tutoring. So I've been looking into that. I'm not sure if I want to put her in like the kind of cohort where they work together with like other children, or if I want it explicitly to be one-on-one. I'm still looking into that because I want Emily to kind of get the best learning experience out of that, and that is going to help me with things that I'm not so strong in. So for example, mathematics, as she grows older as well, really engaging with maths and numbers and all of that jazz. I want someone that's going to be teaching her confidently, someone that's going to be able to again assess her and compare her to her age group, so we're able to identify those limitations and then do things like provide homework. It is a lot to invest financially in a private tutor, but I work hard and I will continue to work hard for my daughter, because for me it's so important to make sure that, you know, my weaknesses or things that I'm not so confident in, we're able to get the help, we're able to get the support to help her on her journey. We also are working towards finding our homeschool community. We've been to 1 or 2 different little events in our local area. Now that the weather's warming up, I am really looking forward to kind of getting to different areas, meeting with different communities. Again, where I live, it's incredible because it's very, very ethnically diverse, which I absolutely love. And a lot of mothers in this region are also single mums like myself, homeschooling. And I'm just so excited to be able to yarn about it, to talk about it, to talk about the experience, talk about the journey, and also connect. You know, what are the difficulties, what have you been doing, what are the strengths? And it's so important to have a community. I think that's the biggest thing that's come out of this homeschooling experience, is really needing to find a community and a network. Now also, there are some really amazing areas around New South Wales that are just totally invested in detransitioning kids out of school, really taking them out of these institutions, and they're like communities. Now, I know 1 or 2 of them, but this is something I'm going to be looking into because I might be moving where I am, somewhere more permanently, more based in nature, more connected to the land, more connected to the environment, but also a community of others that are invested in homeschooling their children, invested in moving them out of these institutions and sharing different knowledges. And what I mean, like, it's a whole neighborhood, it's a whole suburb of different families, towns where kids just kind of come together. This is something that I'm looking into, and this is something that I never thought I would do, but this is an option for us because I would love to immerse Emily in that type of community. You know, kids coming over, playing in the backyard, going down to the river, swimming in the water, you know, connecting to earth. This is something that I'm really getting a strong calling for, and my desire and my fight to keep Emily out of this institution is really driven from my own trauma and my own experiences, and trauma from my parents, trauma from my grandparents. You know, the education system was never created for Indigenous people. The education system was never created for African people or other ethnic minorities, and it definitely was never created for people that are neurodiverse or who have disabilities. And I just, as difficult as it is, this constant reminder of what I'm, you know, protecting my daughter from is that inspiration, is that motivation. And is it easy? No. Am I having days where I'm like, what am I doing? Like, oh my God, like literally panicking? Of course there's times where I'm like that. You know, is she gonna grow up and hate me? Is she gonna this? Is she gonna do that? All these thoughts run through my mind, but I just keep holding on. I keep being steadfast in the belief that I'm protecting my daughter, the foundation, so those blocks of where she's gonna grow and develop with her education. I only have one chance to do this. I'm never ever gonna be like, oh my God, I wish I went back to when she was in year 1 and pulled her out of school. Oh my God, I wish when she was, you know, under 10 I made this decision. I'm never ever going to get these days back and these years back. And Emily having a healthy, a positive, a constructive self-confidence, belief, the skills, the analytical thinking, the planning, the imagination, the fun, all of these different things, they are priority for me. Enabling my daughter to have a healthy relationship with education is so important. And there's so many different families around Australia that are calling out and speaking against the failures that are happening in the education system. So many families are talking about how their kids are struggling, how kids are just being like indoctrinated to being able to copy and paste information without actually being able to engage with it. Children are getting their confidence smashed by not being good enough to read at presentations, and that's something I did see with Emily, with her never presenting because her reading wasn't her best skill set. That doesn't mean that kids shouldn't be given the opportunity to jump up on stage and read a line out. You know, confidence is so important, and through education, you know, that can be really stripped, and I just do not want that for my daughter. So I do work from home. This was another question I got, guys. So I work from home 100%, which is a big blessing. I do want to create a different video talking about how I've got my dream job, knock on wood, alhamdulillah. I do want to create a dedicated video sitting down and talking about how I got my dream job, how I actively work hard to ensure that I stay in my dream job, how my bachelor's and my postgrads has enabled me to, you know, push for things like working from home, push for a job and movement in ways that I want. This is something that I've always thought about, you know, curating my life around my education, and I knew that my education was going to give me a key to create a life that I want. Before I had Emily, that was traveling overseas and working. I can still travel overseas, I can still look at these different options, but for right now, working from home and being able to have my dream job, have my career, and being able to homeschool my daughter is incredible. I'm also really blessed to have supportive family as well. I want to talk about that because there's no way that I could do this without the support of my family. There's no way that I could get through this without their love, their support, helping me with Emily, listening to, you know, me ranting and raving, but also getting their input and their insights. And originally they were 100% against it. I know they thought, oh my gosh, what is Alicia doing? This is so radical. But as they've seen Emily's shifts and Emily's growths, I know that they you know, can see that benefit. They can really see that her whole energy has shifted and changed, and her body and her, you know, sense of calmness has is re-regulating. And again, another important point is that Emily is our only child. So her going to school, she was picking up a lot of different behaviors, a lot of different attitudes, a lot of different moods, how she was processing things, other children's behaviors. And I just felt like it became exhausting for her. As someone who has ADHD, and she has ADHD, I can 100% relate to that. But I can't imagine what it's like to relate on a level of having a traumatic brain injury and being neurologically wired differently and having different pathways. I can't imagine what it's like trying to navigate children and their moods and their behaviors at her age. And again, not having a sibling like I did to understand, oh, if someone's acting like this, this means that. If someone doesn't want to play with you, you do this, you do that. Or just mean, like when someone's mean, like Emily didn't know what these things are. Of course she was exposed to it in preschool, but school is very, very different. And I don't want Emily to pick up bad habits like that. I don't want my daughter to see other children hate learning, or other children feel so sad in the classroom. And I believe that's what's happening all over this country, where kids are in classrooms feeling like crap. And that just really breaks my heart. And it breaks my heart to think that my daughter was one of those children. And also importantly, you know, helplessness. I don't want my daughter to feel helpless, like she's not worthy, like she's not good, like there's no one there to help her. And that was a really big, strong trend in my own education system. My own experience with the education system, but I also feel like countless other children go through that and navigate that. And finally, these issues are more prevalent today than they've ever been, you know, through the impacts of COVID, through the impacts of the housing crisis we're seeing in Australia, or the cost of living crisis. Parents are stressed, teachers are stressed, these school systems are stressed, and the children are going to be stressed. So it's been a real big, like, pull the plug out moment for me, where Emily and I are just living in this little bubble of bliss. It's just us moving through life day to day, us moving through and navigating life. And it's like the smallest things, guys, like when we wake up in the morning, she's not being rushed through her meal. She can lay on the ground and roll around and take as much time as she needs to wake up. If it's an extra half an hour of sleep, or if she wakes up early in the morning, earlier than usual, there's so much freedom in our life. And as an Aboriginal woman, as a single mother, that freedom is invaluable. I couldn't put a cost value on it. It is a blessing, and it is something that I am so proud of me and Emily to be present in this moment. It is a long journey ahead of us, guys. I want to talk more about connecting to homeschooling communities, navigating race, navigating socioeconomic status, being a single parent household. I want to talk all about it. Also keeping Emily and I safe within these homeschooling communities as well. Protecting her in many different ways is really a big priority of mine. Same things like no sleepovers. I don't leave her anywhere unattended without me. She's constantly supervised in any group settings. But if you guys would like to hear more about this, you know, like my general role as a mother and how I will never leave her unattended anywhere, let me know. And also, guys, I have a background in early intervention, child protection, all of this kind of space. So also, if you guys would like me to talk more about my 9 to 5 and how, not my 9 to 5, sorry, my background or my area of expertise and my kind of jobs that I've had in my life. If you guys want me to talk more about this, let me know, because I would love to sit down and talk about my background, my education, but also my expertise in the field, and how this has greatly shaped my role as a mother, and also my understanding of what's happening contemporarily in Australia. Let me know. But absolute pleasure yarning. Definitely more to come. This was like the first touch base series. We're 4 months in, absolutely loving it, looking to branch out, and then again really staying steadfast in this decision and my reason of why I've done this. Always highlighting and standing strong to my reason why. Let me know your comments and your questions down below. I would love to hear what you thought about this video. I love you all so much, and we will yarn soon.